The tools that you'll need to fit your dash cam into the V90. Obviously the dash cam, list of all the fuses so we can decide which one to use, trim tool to get the trim off, and the fuse adapter and the fuse to go with that. So we're going to be installing the dash cam in the passenger side window on the left in the UK. Down this trim panel, removing this one, removing this trim panel as well, all the way down there to get to the fuse box, which is behind the carpet there. A pillar, this little catch just pops out, just with two little clips on it, and then a little bolt there just to undo to get that panel off. So those are the clips that hold it on. Just pulling it away with the trim tool, and we'll run the cables for the dash cam down where these cables go, avoiding the airbag that you can see just there. Then we come down to the end of the dash, and that just pops off again with the trim tool. Just prise that off gently. Can't do it one-handed. There we go. Let's give it a trim tool twist. And disconnecting the green wire. And there's the panel off, and you can see the clips just hold it on. Just pull straight away from the end of the dash. Next up is the trim panel that goes up to the A-pillar panel. This one just pulls out, but watch at the top because it's got a little hook on it just there. So you can get that out of the light. So that hook just goes up, it's not a pull out as the rest of them are. And the next panel to come off is the bottom of the door trim, and that will then allow us to get to the back of the carpet and the fuse board, which is just underneath the glove box. So again, just working on there with the trim tool, and this just lifts up, and there you can see there the clips that just hold that in go straight down into the floor. And then that gives us access to the fuse board, which is just behind here, just there in the carpet. And the fuse box is just opened from the very, very far end by giving it a worryingly strong pull. Don't know how easy that's going to be to see. And this is very difficult to get at. And if you can't get the fuse box lid off, then just putting a bit of string or rope around the hole at the end and giving that a pull will save the skin on the back of your knuckles, which is what I'm going to do with this one. So now got a bit of string through the end hole, and that's just pulled off. So just wriggle that past the carpet, and it just unhooks at the front end, giving access to all the fuses that you can see there. So what we're going to do is just find a fuse that we can use to put in the little adapter cable, and a cigarette lighter adapter ready for the dash cam. And we're probably just going to use the passenger side heated seat or something that's not important for the running of the car. So using one of these piggyback fuse adapters, make sure you get the right one, and I'll try and put a note on the end of the video. They've got, not easiest to see there, two different sockets where you can put the fuse in. You do need to get a second fuse. The bottom 2 sockets, when this is plugged back into the fuse board, power what was the original accessory, so the heated seat in this case, and then the top fuse is the one that powers the new device that we're adding. So there will be 2 fuses sitting in here to make everything work. So there's the fuse piggyback adapter with the 2 fuses in, and then this just goes back into the original hole where that first fuse came from, and that's it. Simple as that. Now just route the wire through the front of the lid for the fuse box as we put the fuse box back together. That wire and the negative which I've installed on ended up soldering it on and routing that to the car because I couldn't get the self tapper to go through that hole either because I've got the wrong size drill because the metal's a bit thick, but it's just held on with a rivet, which is absolutely fine. And then that comes together just to give us a connector into the cigarette lighter adapter, which the dashcam will plug straight into. I just took the wire along inside the head lining. That might need something just to hold it in there, a little bit of foam or something, because it's we'll have to see if that falls out. If it falls out, we'll just pop a bit of foam in there, and then run it down that A-pillar, and then just clip the A-pillar back on, put in the screw. That's the A-pillar part of it done. What I did need to do was feed the wire up through this little bit just here, because that didn't come out due to this air vent, so that may or may not come out easily, but this is a big hole there to pop the wire up, so it was easy enough to do that without taking the whole A-pillar trim off. And then the excess wire I'm just going to put into the end of the dashboard behind the panel with the switch for the passenger airbag. So I just took that in, and then we'll route those cables round like that. Might just need to move it up to there, see how that fits in a second, but that's where that's going to go. And then we'll just put the carpet back and the trim back. That's the bottom trim on, just clips on, and then we put the back piece in. Just remember, watch the bit at the top of that trim just to hook into the hole there on the bottom of the A-pillar trim. So just pop the end of the dashboard on, remembering to reconnect up the switch for the passenger airbag, otherwise the car will complain about airbag warning. The finished installation of the dash cam, keeping a reasonable distance away from the IntelliSafe bits and pieces in the middle of the car, as Volvo suggest. No wires visible at all the way down the A-pillar, no wires around the side of the dashboard, and then obviously into the fuse box under there, visible at all, other than just the dash cam visible there, which sits behind doesn't interfere with the visor either. Job done. Job done, apart from, don't forget to put that little fuse removing tool back into the inside of the cover of the fuse box. So job done, apart from this is all now going to have to come off again in order to put that back in the fuse box. Drat.